I've just been working on the boxes for the sweaters. It's really difficult because I'm like, this is an opportunity, and I'm getting 1,000 of them made. So this is an opportunity to do something interesting. These are the ones that I've had made so far. So they're the box is not custom. The box purchased is like kind of an 8/4 size, and it's perfect for the sweaters folded up. And then there's a place near me that can do printing on 3D objects. So I was able to get that done. Now, I think we spoke about that. Not efficient. Those boxes plus the printing, like all in, is £17 a box. Which it just doesn't make sense to be spending that much.
That's an £85 retail box.
Yeah. Which is entirely unnecessary. No one's gonna. It still needs to be high quality, but but there's all I'm paying for is markups. It's not like I'm getting a £17 cardboard box. But so now that I'm making them custom, what I realized was that this size fits my sweaters in beautifully. And I do think it's nice. Sure, I could just put them in a poly bag, but that's not what you're buying with a premium product. So the box is what I want to put the sweaters in. That won't fit the shawl neck cardigan. It's got way too much bulk. So that's the decision, is to say kind of size, width, but the height is greater. Then I can put my sweaters in the same box.
They're so big, aren't they?
What, the size of the the cardigan or the box?
The box.
Yeah, I mean it is, and would I like the sweaters to be in that? Yeah, sure, but at the same time, people might be buying 2 at a time, and locally the shipping cost is the same. No matter which box I have.
What do you do?
Internationally, it'll make a difference.
Yeah. What do you do if someone buys 3 items?
They'll get like, I mean, I guess there's the potential that I could put 2 in here. But it will be, I think I'm kind of like, it's a premium product, so I would expect to get them all boxed. So if people buy 3 products, if they buy 4, and I know there will be the returns with that as well. But I kind of feel like I need to suck that up for the customer experience, for those, for those people. I mean, I in an ideal world, I guess you would have like a tick box. I'm buying these to check my size. And then you would provide like a poly mailer bag for them to send the one back or something, and they hang on to the box and the one they want to keep.
It gets so confusing, or not confusing. There are just so many things, aren't there?
You mean in terms of just in terms of the logistics, or?
Yes, all of these extra bits that. Oh, they're just a nuisance, aren't they?
Like, and I think they can make. Go on.
Oh, well, that do make a difference, because I love getting a nice box in the mail, and then the chap has stood it, or lady, the delivery person has sent it in, and they've just left it vertically, and it's just
and all the clothes is gone.
And then you're like, oh, could have been in a bag. Could have been in a bag.
Yes.
It's finding the balance of what.
And I think that customers, consumers know that's because the mailman has put it vertically. Like I think that they can discern the difference of like whether it was sloppily thrown together before it left you, or whether it was part of that shipping process. It's more, to me, it's looking at the cost of the returns. You're going to get returns. Let's say 20%. I hope that I get less with the jackets, because it's such an individual process, and we do the online fitting beforehand. But I imagine with the sweaters, people will just be like, I'm a small, and they'll buy a small rather than looking at the sizes. And so or do the thing where they're like, well, I'm not sure if I'm a small or a medium, so I'll order both and then get the return and the refund, because it's just part and parcel of it. But at the same time, I'm not renting out a shop, so I kind of see like that's well, I mean, there's the other fees, but that's a fee that I can soak up because of that.
I mean, honestly, you never know until you get going. Then it's do the ones that you want to do.
Yeah, and then I guess adjust. So if you're finding that you're sending out 3 boxes and it's costing you, because each box, so let's say it costs £7.50 per box to send it out locally. So obviously you're tripling that cost, unless you have a huge stock of different size boxes. Either different size gift boxes or different size mailer boxes, so you can put 2 gift boxes in one mailer box. And but either way, it's as you say, it's incredibly complicated. And you're holding on to a huge amount of stock. I think it's just part and parcel, though, isn't it?
I think it is. I think everything's just part and parcel of there's just these things that you have to do. You can think it so much, and then it's like you just have to do it, or you don't do it. You don't do any of it. I guess this is the other way. If you and then you're stuck because you can't send it out. And I say that sort of flippantly, in the sense of people go, well, don't use any packaging. It's like, okay, in the warehouse, dusty, as clean as it can be, but just a jumper on a shelf that falls off on the floor, whatever. You can't stick a postage stamp on it or your airway bill directly to the garment and send it through. Like you just need something, and it's almost,
you also need it. Sorry, go on.
It's one of those problems.
Because you also need the packaging to be discreet, so you don't know what's in it. If you just say, okay, just use a see-through bag, and then you can stick your airway bill on that, and then you're like, oh, there's a Barnfield shawl net cardigan that's worth £345.
Yeah,
rather than it just being in a black bag,
which is a bargain. For what it is, but they're frustrating. I think those decisions, when you're doing it on your own, they all get in the way of like doing things, because you're like, oh, this really important decision, and then you're like, oh, and it is important. I don't belittle that, because now,
no, sure,
I'm thinking of retail bags and shopping bags and hang tags and all of those bits that you need.
And there are so many decisions to make. But that brings me on to our friend, yours and my friend, ChatGPT.
Oh, yes.
Or AI, anyway.
Look at my new mug.
What has that got to do with ChatGPT?
That's got nothing to do with it, but I love it. Esk bought it for me, and it's brilliant.
It is very good. I was just baffled. Right. So I've been doing this thing. Remember I told you I've signed up to these emails from David Hyatt. So they have suddenly improved in their value to me, because he's been really deep diving into AI and how it can help you as a founder and as a business. And there's these 25 questions that he has developed to help you create a founder operating system.
Okay.
And they're really, really very useful. And I'm finding myself really digging in to the psychiatry or psychology of how I work, and what drives me, and what I should be leaving behind. What's certain things that are serving me, certain things that aren't. So it's broken down into origin, philosophy, ambition, behavior, and blind spots. And I've just gotten into the blind spots, because I think to make the most of this, you need to spend time and work at it. You don't want to just, put in whatever answers, because it's kind of shit in, shit out.
So you've gone to blind spots first?
No. Sorry. This blind spots is the 5th, is questions 21 to 25 to help you identify your blind spots. I've done origin, philosophy, ambition, and behavior. So questions 1 to 20. and I'm just leaning into blind spots now.
Okay.
And it's quite fast. Like so I've been doing this. I go to the gym. I get on the treadmill, stick it on an incline, just slowly increasing the incline, making life harder for myself, and just kind of writing these answers. So I just find it's that whole thing of you can have much easier conversations when you're side by side with someone and doing something than you can face to face, because there's that inherent sense that if I am face to face, my, predator prey sort of thing, my eyes are directly faced at you, and it's I think deep down there is a level of threat to that.
100%.
Whereas if you're just doing something and you're doing something together, it takes the threat and the anxiety away from it. And that's kind of what works for me is doing something and moving. So I won't, I'm not going to read out all the questions, but it runs through from like origin. What's a formative moment from your childhood that still shapes how you work today? And that was quite interesting because that immediately just brought up, and it's fascinating the things that do just come up straight away. And there was a memory I had of when, so I was living in Bahrain at school, and my mum had come back to the UK, and Dad was looking after us, and I was doing my art homework, and it was create a perspective, find an object and create a perspective drawing of it, and I'd chosen a hairbrush, which as your first kind of perspective thing, like with all the bristles, was tough. So anyway, I just have this memory of showing my dad, my art homework, and him being like, "Yeah, I mean, I reckon you could probably do better." And I remember being like, I don't remember how I was affected by that, but I do remember being like, I was showing him because I was pleased with what I'd done, and then, so therefore, I think there's always been this drive towards excellence. You can always do better. You can always do better. It's just really interesting how that and how that's always, and that continues to drive me today, whether it's that one incident or whether that was kind of like the household that I grew up in was, I also really distinctly remember them saying, like if you come back and you come back and you've got a B, on your homework or whatever work you're doing, and we give you loads of praise for that, what do we do when you get an A? And so that's the kind of house that, there was definitely this drive towards excellence and this push and this drive. And so I think that is quite an important part of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're kind of looking at it and going, well, okay, how is that serving me? And how is it not? Let's look, for instance, at social media for Barnfield. Like, to me, it needs to be the best possible standard it can be internationally, not what I'm capable of, but what I should be capable of and what the brand needs to represent. So therefore, I'm looking at everyone else and being like, this is what it should be like. I'm not considering, well, there's an entire team behind them, because I'm kind of like, well, it doesn't matter if there's an entire team creating that social media. What matters is the end result, and it has to be excellent. But what that's done is it's totally frozen me, and I published my first piece of content since February last week, because I'm like, nothing is good enough. But actually being in front of people and showing people the process is way more important. So it's really, really very interesting, and putting this into ChatGPT and kind of getting that feedback and putting in as much information as you can, so that I can then, and this is where it circles back, I can be like, I'm really struggling with these boxes. What should I do? I don't want to lose the opportunity to make them the best that they possibly can be. No doubt it would be like, you just need to get it done.
Yeah.
Because 1,000 boxes, if you get it right, that's 1,000 boxes. That should be less than a year's worth of stock easily. So therefore you'll be buying more. So just get it done and then iterate. So it's just interesting how just even if it's not feeding back to me, just looking inwards a bit more with some structure and a framework can help you move things forwards.
Yeah, gosh. We probably all have those things. I wonder if there's something in our parents' generations that created comments or prompts such as the one that you received. Because I had a similar one to, or that I
Okay.
remember. Actually, my dad might not have said it, but I remember him saying, "You can do anything you want as long as you're the best at it."
Isn't that? Yeah, I mean, that's on the nose. That's very to the point, isn't it? Because actually, we'll come back, because one of the questions is like, what do you want Barnfield to be? Do you, or what do you want to be? Do you want to be the best at what you do, or the only person who does what you do?
Yeah, quite.
And that's an interesting
Yeah.
way of looking at it.
Yeah, and I actually think with folks, I was never taught. It's like, okay, cool, be the best. What that entails,
Mm,
because actually,
yeah,
you can go and be the best if kind of you're shown how to do it, and
sure.
encouraged to do it. You obviously have to step forward and do it and show skill and attitude and a
Mm,
desire to do it. But then
yeah,
it starts to feed itself in a way, and parents. So it's like, you be the best. So you just have this thing. Well, I just run harder at it. I'll just
yeah,
run harder at the thing.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'll work longer. Work longer doesn't make you the best.
Mm-hmm.
Working smarter does. That might entail long sessions or long hours, but not all the time.
Sure.
Just working harder
No,
leads to tiredness, burnout, fatigue, and
burnout.
yeah, and all of those things.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
just wonder if it was our parents' generations that created that. 'Cause I've been reading. I was given a book by my sister for my birthday. This
Mm,
tennis psychology book. I'll find the title of it, and it's amazing. And I'm like, wow.
okay.
And not for the tennis, because it's actually saying there are two. There's your self one and self two. Self one is your mind that
Right.
kind of berates yourself, does all this stuff, and self two is your unconscious that
Mm-hmm.
kind of knows all these things and learned, but has absorbed everything. And you need to
Okay.
quieten, shut self one off, shut your mind off,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
let self two, because it's constantly kind of iterating and regulating itself. Like, that didn't
Yeah.
work.
Okay.
I'll
Mm-hmm.
try this. I remember this. But you're doing it without consciously thinking of it and getting better.
Okay.
And I'm like, wow, I wish I'd had
Interesting.
that then, because actually becoming the best at something, bit of luck, lots of iteration,
Yeah.
over time. And you get there and people are like, oh my God, you're the best. And you're like, we should have seen you at the start. It's probably the worst. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah. Sure.
terrible.
Yeah.
But you improve over the long term. And I never knew that. It's taken me a long time to discover that
Mm.
becoming good
I
at
guess
something, you just have to be in the
if you
game.
think about, yeah. Well, this is it. And if you think about like family businesses, say for instance a tailor's that was established in 1810 or something like that, and it's continued down through the generations. Of course, like you think of the acceleration of that fourth, fifth generation tailor,
Yeah.
of of the knowledge that's been passed down, that very specific knowledge that's been passed down. And then I guess it ties into, there's the whole 10,000 hours theory, isn't there? Like,
Yeah.
if you dedicate yourself to anything for 10,000 hours, you can get good. And that's where I guess that's where the long working hours come into it. And also I think that you talk about like our parents' generation, things were different. You could have a career for life. You could work hard and reap the rewards, buy a house early on, see the increase in the capital gains of that.
Mm.
There's so much of that world that has changed for us, for the good and the bad. I was having a discussion with my folks some time ago, and I was like, do you think life is more complicated now? And they were like, for sure. Like, we had so much less choice. If you needed gas into your home, you had a single supplier.
Yeah.
Same with electricity, water, whatever. You weren't even with those. Now you've got to look and choose. You pick and choose. Like, oh, British Gas is offering £100 less per quarter than these guys, so I need to move and need to do this. And it's the same with everything. So in some ways, I think there was a lot less cognitive load with that. But of course, with that comes lack of choice and lack of competition and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And yet to that, the people that do really seem to do very well have almost reduced the amount of choice. Like they don't see it. Like you just strip everything away.
Yeah.
And I also wonder if you have to do that with someone. You know, this you can do everything on your own. I just don't believe that at all. Like even the conversations that we have, like everybody that's doing something, starting something, you need a mate or a partner or a business partner to just bounce off, because it you can have a little rant and you're like, cool, that's gone, because otherwise you just rant with yourself, which isn't good. Or just able to see things clearly, and it's like this box, which one do you like? That box. Is like, okay, go with it. You kind of need to have that. Well, to me, that's like iterating again. It's just someone to go this one or this one. You go, okay, that one.
Yeah.
Neither of the two are wrong or right in a way. You know, like the box.
Yeah.
Jeez, there's a consequence to a bigger box. Sending it overseas, you know. Yeah, you'll see that later. But then you just course correct and go, we need a smaller box.
So we use these locally and these internationally.
Yeah. And just, sorry, I've got hair in my mouth. You just got to be quick, haven't you? And I wonder if the people that are really good can just shut off all other options. And I think that I've been finishing some tech packs for knitwear.
Okay.
And you go into the showroom, and it's really important to go into the showroom of the factory, because then you can see everything that they can do, and that leads to ideas. But that leads to, you go in, it's like, I want these three items. I want these three. This is in my head, and you go in, and you're like, oh, that's nice.
I could have this.
That's nice, because there are kind of limitless possibilities or infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
And then it takes you longer and longer to do the thing. And you have to be really... I found it easier when I had a team, because we could go into those things, let them go, and it's like, we just need 3. Like, you're just constantly editing, but they're kind of fed in, and it's like, chop that one out. No, yes, to one side, and constantly iterating. Easier to do with other people than on your own, because you can't have that one on either shoulder, the mind on different minds on.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've just literally just because I always end up fiddling around with things whilst we're speaking, because I just need to keep my hands active. But like one of the things when I saw was, okay, am I going for this off-white or this off-white? Am I going for a warm white or a cool white?
Yeah.
And you're like, honestly, Mark, it just doesn't. But then I'm telling myself it just doesn't matter. But I'm actually saying the words, but going, yeah, but it does matter. I do care. So it's really, but you're absolutely right. Like someone could just go, look, we go with as long as it's not like optical white or whatever, we just move forwards.
Yeah.
And I think that I was watching Clarkson's Farm. Have you seen any of it?
No, but I haven't watched it directly, but I've seen clips and bits and bobs.
So in the latest season, he's buying a pub. And getting it all decked out and everything, and he is melting because of all the decisions that he's having to make. And I'm like, I feel like that all day, every day, but without the external push coming from something else or someone else. You actually, it's very difficult to prioritize. So that's the first step. Is like, well, what should I do today? It's all important. It all needs to get done. So what do I do? And then I end up being like, well, I'm only doing that because I want to. Is it actually what's pushing the business forwards, or is it because it's what I feel like? Just this constant questioning.
Yeah.
Probably not made easier. Draining.
Probably not made easier by many books and experts saying, only do what drives the business forward, this, that, and the other. Because they're kind of really unhelpful comments.
Mhm.
Like, they make absolute sense, but they're quite unhelpful.
Well, it comes down to what you were saying as well, in that, you know, you could say you and I have had a similar experience with our parents, like, you know, be the best.
Yeah.
You know, drive towards excellence. Okay, cool. How? And it's the same with, you know, the business gurus who are just like, you know, like, do what drives the business forwards. Okay, cool. What drives my business forwards today?
Yeah.
Can you, if you know, are you going to sit next to me and help me decide that? Just tell me that, then I can move it forwards. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think that at the heart of all of this stuff, books, TikTok stuff, Instagram, whatever, is this kind of line that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You're not doing well enough. You're not doing it right. Because otherwise, if you were doing it right, they've got nothing to sell you. So it's, if you allow yourself to fall victim to it, which I often do, because if you're waking up going, well, I'm not quite sure what I should be doing today, you seek that external driver. And it might be someone saying, well, make sure you're doing something that pushes the business forwards.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe what you need that day is to do something that gives you joy and keeps you engaged with the business, rather than I need to do my accounts or get ahead of my accounts 3 months in advance. Okay, cool. Yeah, that would be helpful, but it's also going to make you want to poke your eyes out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's I think what we're doing, it's like herding cats. You will herd the cats. But, you know, like a series of fields, right? All with different gates on. And you're herding sheep or cats, but you've got to get the sheep from this field 1 to field 10.
Yeah.
But you can only move into the next. Well, you can't move like 2 fields ahead. So you can think like you're not, but really it doesn't really matter. You just need to get, the goal is to get all the sheep. Yeah. Like, so in field 4, you've got 3 sheep, but you just need to keep on that driving, close a gate, like reducing. I feel like that's what it is, rather than we can't move forward until every sheep is in field 1. Then we open the gate to field 2. It's like, you kind of need this, like, okay, I'm running ahead to field 2, open the gate, they're coming through, field, 1 gate's closed. You just need to be moving.
Yes.
Rather than completing. I feel that's like making garments, like we've said. Like, you've got, oh my God, I've nearly got it. It's done. Oh my God, it's now at the back. It's slowed down, and like style 3 has come forward, because you just need that momentum. And I think that they're the things that people don't understand, because we expect things to be finished and complete all the time. And you get the short push. But the interesting part in this, to me, is I think there is a way, when you find really amazing suppliers, and I've been making some garments in China for cost reasons, and I've received the samples today, so I'm very curious to see them. First proto, so in a way, don't think anything of it, but communication's been excellent. Like, it feels like they've just moved through. They're really sequential. What I do think is missing, and you have to engineer this in, and this is something I was speaking to another kind of ex-colleague from a number of years ago, is the feeling, like making product feel special and different, because so much now looks the same.
Sure.
Feels the same. And I think it feels different when it's made in the UK, almost because it's not as well made in terms of production line efficiencies. Machines are set up in a certain way.
Yeah.
Proper production lines, they'll change each machine, and the mechanical tweak each machine to do that production. But of course, you need a certain volume to go through to make it worthwhile. That affects the price.
Yeah.
And in England, they'll kind of go, bang it on that one, and we'll give it a tweak kind of thing. And that does them a bit of disservice. But you kind of get the look of the factory rather than absolute anodyne perfection.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, like, I guess, like, what you would hope is happening in the UK is that they're using skill to overcome those kind of changes. So they have the ability to, or the learning to go, okay, well, I don't need to change the machine if I move the collar in this way and approach it from this direction or something.
Maybe, but then there are many brands that can't work that way because it's not. They can't take the idiosyncrasies into their product. It has to be everyone.
Very difficult to tech pack that.
Yeah. You can't tech pack it. Then it comes down to judgment and skill. But I think that's what we're losing across the board. And I read another article talking about fashion, kind of how everything is just the same. But it's also the same because the factories are making it the same.
Yeah, okay.
People are wanting to make the same. You get this, there's no point of view because all point of views are the same. And that isn't, I guess in the broader things, that is a point of view when everyone has the same point of view, but it's not how we are as humans. Like there's something that feels increasingly not right about everyone and everything looking the same. Because the richness goes.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. I'm just thinking about how, well, I was in south of Italy, and then I was in Lisbon, and there was a similarity to them as kind of like warm European urban areas, but especially Lisbon, even though it had the Nike stores and your H&Ms and all that sort of stuff, I felt like the bones of the city were different enough that there wasn't a homogenous feeling to it. But maybe that's only because I don't really know what I'm looking for. And actually, well, you're able to have your peri-peri chicken, and you're able to have the, and it wasn't so different that you were confronted by anything.
Yeah, I love Lisbon. I think that old architectural thing. And have you seen the meme going around on Instagram? It's like a bus stop used to look like this, and now it looks like this, and a bollard used to look like this, and now it looks like this.
Like Victorian design.
Yeah, and everything now looks kind of minimal and just no angles, nothing.
Yeah.
Like Lisbon's very kind of ramshackle, but it's all of those things that I think they bring character, don't they? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like for some reason I was thinking about a Sunday roast, like a leg of lamb roasted.
Right.
Each one looks different. Like there's so much variety. Some are better than others, but if everything looked the same, what level would it be at? Because it wouldn't be this incredible level where it's just like, oh my God, that's just cooked to perfection. The chances are it would be lowered to a level where how can we roast 100 of these at once, 1,000 of these, 10,000 of these, rather than this one, do the next one, this one, do the next one.
Gotcha. So yes, and I agree. I think that homogenization, you come down to the lowest common denominator. You don't go up. And for instance, I mean, t-shirts are a perfect example, right? I mean, this is actually a fairly decent fitting t-shirt on me, but I would prefer that sleeve to be slimmer and shorter. Yeah, right. And that would be the perfect thing for me. Bring it up by half an inch and bring it in, but you can't. You can't, because that's making it perfect for me. You have to homogenize it so that it fits more people. And so therefore there's very few people that it's perfect for, and 95% of people it's okay for.
Yeah, but that's that one t-shirt, and like in the plethora of tees, because also with design you get someone in the old way, I mean, when there was a design, I was thinking about this because I'm writing a piece for for something I'm doing, and it was in the oldie days. There was a designers, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had a point of view, and they put that point of view out, and you're like, oh my god,
Yep.
that's that designer's point of view. But I guess whatever it is, it's like that chef, that designer, and the business was done to support that point of view.
Yeah.
Now it's business first.
Yeah.
Reduce the point of view to grow the business. So everything starts to look, what are they buying? Oh, they're buying that. So we make that. We make our version of that, as opposed to, and then the people go, well, it's not selling because it doesn't look enough like that one. It's like, well, if we make that one, we're making theirs, and we don't have the name. But it made me think about businesses and designers, and how a designer used to be a point of view. And we're losing point of view for treating everyone the same, because that T-shirt, like you could buy a T-shirt from Visvim, which is Hiroki's point of view, and it fits in a certain way. For me, I love the look of the T-shirt. I love all the details on the T-shirt. I love the packaging. Doesn't work on me.
Right.
But I love everything about it. Just doesn't work on me. It's not. Doesn't fit me.
Sure.
But I love everything about it. Now, you could make that T-shirt to fit me. It's like, but that's his point of view.
It's
like,
not that.
I love his point of view, but his point of view doesn't fit my world and the way I live. It doesn't fit my.
But what's interesting is that I guess because of your background and who you are, you can still appreciate it as a product. It's the same with me with skate shoes. Like, I can look at, I go to my brother's e-commerce store, I look at those skate shoes and I'm like, oh, they look great. Never wear them. They don't match my style. I wear very slim stuff, and these are bulky, but the proportions look great to me. But you're still, by having a unique perspective and promoting that, as I am with Barnfield, as you are with Peace, I think those are the brands that do stand out. Okay, then you've got the brands like H&M that are just totally homogenized, and just, it's just a matter of making money. It's just, turn clothing into money.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's where I feel like people have been duped, because their business is first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're machines.
Yeah.
It was never about the point of view, because it's like,
no,
we're going to aggregate all the points of view, and we're going to bring it down to the lowest common denominator of various stages. And you're like, that's amazing. I guess where I'm feeling is people don't have a point of view. Points of view are less and less and less.
Interesting. Because obviously, because the platforms exist to have a point of view and to share that point of view more than ever before.
Yeah, but so few people actually have a point of view.
You mean people are more consumers than they are creators?
Yeah. Like, actually, what do you think? What are you putting into the world? What's your message? And then I think when someone does, they really resonate, because people are like, oh, yeah, you're speaking to me.
Sure.
That's amazing. And this article I read, it listed all the brands, and I'd never spoken to this person, but I was like, yeah. All of the brands that people have points of view, and they're, what you said earlier, do you want to be the only one? They're like the
best or the only.
Yeah, they are the only.
Yeah.
And perform to a very rigorous level,
Yeah.
Great production. But they would be that even if they weren't that brand.
Sure.
The founders would be living their world exactly as it is.
Yeah.
Just with less money. Or, it's like, because they can't be anything else. And I'm like, wow, that's where you want to get to. That's like my dream and aspiration for. That's what that's what brands can support, and
Yes.
that's what companies can do. That's what you can do, so people have a point of view and go, "Wow, Barnfield don't like their pea coat, but their knitwear is amazing." Like that's the knitwear and Peace. You know, like oh, I don't really like their message, and this is what I'm playing with at the moment because I think it sort of is political, and I enjoy the tension between questioning and provocation, but not provoking more someone else going, oh, I'm uncomfortable with that and that response. I really enjoy that. I think that's a good tension when people go, oh, I don't like, oh, skating's terrible. And then someone does a trick and they're like, oh, I could never do that. You're like,
sure.
Oh, yeah, because it's really skillful. It's like, oh, look at those kids. They're just, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then like, you know, oh, skating's for kids. And then you see successful business people or, you know, skating. And it's like, answer that. And they're like, oh, well, not you, because you're all right. It's like, I like you. And you're like, that's, I think, that's the bit that I enjoy being in. So Peace clothes are kind of really beautiful. Like, how can you not how can you not say a beautiful cashmere sweater in navy blue or black or whatever is, oh, that's not for me, as you there wearing all black. I only like simple things. You know, it's kind of the message. And it's like, oh, they've got this message. They're all about this. And you're like, oh, that's nice. It's like, so how do you wrestle with that? Because that's life. Like, you don't have to like everything. Like, love that Visvin t-shirt.
No, not at all.
Absolutely amazing. I won't buy it. Doesn't fit me. Doesn't suit me. But I fully respect it. Think it's a fantastic brand. And people just, they don't have a point of view. Have an opinion,
but I think,
but not a point of view.
I think that you know, it's like in business. If you're trying to sell a service and you're going back and forth with someone, and you're getting not mixed messages, but they're kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of interested in what you've got to sell, but it's actually them being like, no, I'm not into what you're selling, is so much more valuable, because you could be like, okay, cool. We're not for you. And moving on. I'm not saying I have an interest in being polarizing, but I appreciate that when I'm saying the peacoat will cost £1,595, and when you buy it, you won't get it for 12 weeks. You have to wait. Certain people will be like, I'm really into that. That's really interesting to me, because I appreciate the anticipation and the lead up is just as important as the product itself. Other people will be like, 12 weeks for a jacket, get fucked. And that's, that's fine. I'm not trying to be polarizing, but I also appreciate that I will be.
Well, I would say I don't think you are. I think they are.
Oh, interesting.
Because it takes 12 weeks. It takes 12 weeks and it costs this. I have not come round to your door and say, you must buy this. I'm not being polarizing. I'm just like, to make it, and this is what it costs. I think it's other people, and it's that I enjoy, because, and I guess that's part of that's why it's called Peace for me. But I think that's the same with other brands. It's like, this is what we do. Like, we do it as we do it to the best of our abilities, as respectfully as possible. We're learning all the time. We will make mistakes. And then someone goes, whoa, you're making mistakes. And it's like, yeah, I know, because I just said.
So this is something, I can't remember where it came up. I was just listening to someone talking about this on a podcast, but in 8 Mile, when Eminem's character gets up and does his rap battle, and he totally disses himself. And so the other guy's like, he's got nothing to come back with. And so it's exactly that. It's like, look, we're all making mistakes and we're all learning. And you're absolutely right. Like a 12-week wait isn't great for some people, but that's what it is.
Well, it's not even, you either want it or There are loads of reasons, aren't there? Oh, it's. I'd never wait 12 weeks. Well, all right, look at you. Like, I mean, you know, like you could say that. You're like, well, okay, you know, maybe take 12 weeks, you know. Or, oh, who would pay that for that? Not you. Because if you had the money, it wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah. And I think that it's, if you're justifying yourself, you're in a very dangerous space.
Yeah, when you rise to the bait. I think,
Yeah.
because people, and that creates the polarity. It's like as soon as someone, they rise to it and you rise to it, the tension, the polarities are created. If you don't, you're just like fully sovereign and in the middle and going, this is what we believe in, for example, you know. And one of our slogans is peace is an act of rebellion.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Because I think it is. To be at peace, it doesn't mean you're weak. Doesn't mean you're, and you know, because you want to be that person that's like, wow, they're the best at what they do, and they're really nice. Like, oh, wait, oh yeah, well, they're really nice because what? Because they give us time. Like you disarm everything. I think peace comes from disarming, just going, this is who we are. Like, I love what you're doing. It's not for me, but I love it. Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
You've disarmed that situation.
Sure.
I remember getting the bus when I was at school. And in Long Eaton, there were a couple of schools along the way. Ours was like the la-di-da one. And I remember getting the bus in the morning, and then the other schools would get on and they would give us, you know, jip the whole time. They never gave me jip.
Okay.
Because I would just talk to them.
Yeah, sure.
I'd never kind of cower away. I just kind of, it's like, yeah. And that's, you can do that. Like, I think this polarity thing comes up when people want to do this thing, but I believe it's because they don't have a point of view. Because when it's a point of view, interesting, tell me more. If it's an opinion, that's shit. You're like, well, bang, in the face.
Yeah, sure.
Wallop. You create this instant thing where it's like, yeah. Okay, cool. Like,
well, to me, it's the power of authenticity. If you have a point of view that you have come to and you've developed and you have this clear understanding about it, then it's authentic, and you're not going to get swayed. I mean, don't get me wrong. Someone could say, "Hey, listen, like sustainability, what you're doing, it isn't sustainable." And I mean, I've thought about it enough to be like, yeah, I get it. Like, sustainability is a really complex issue, but these are the factors that I'm taking into account. It's also why I don't hang my hat on sustainability, but we use natural fabrics, we source locally, we support local manufacturing. Those are the important things to me about creating sustainable business. And I have the ability to take on board someone being like, well, you're not sustainable. Because I've thought it through, and I have a point of view, and I have an understanding, and so I'm not then going, oh well, we did do this, like trying to defend. I'm not looking to defend myself, and I think that's the important thing. I think once you start trying to defend yourself, that can come off as weakness.
There's a really good clip of Steve Jobs being asked something, and this guy asks a question, and he kind of like tries to like call him out. This is way back in the day. This is like, you know, when he'd just come back. And like, oh, you know, everyone else is better than, you know, da-da-da. And he said, you can please some of the people some of the time. And I love that phrase.
Yeah.
He was like, what you don't see are all these people working super hard to create something. It's like, it'll come. But you know what he says is right. There are better products right now than what we've got.
Yeah.
But just you know, get behind people, and yeah, I think we need more points of view. Point of views.
I can't help but think, like, because you brought up Apple, I can't help but think right now, I don't know, do you pay any attention to like the WWDC, you know, each year when they bring out like new design or new products?
I used to listen to them, and then for me, Apple, I don't think has a point of view. It's a phenomenal business, but doesn't have a point of view. For me, it's just like, but I don't think any of that stuff does. Like, they're just tools now.
They are, but like, I mean, I think this latest WWDC, you know, they're basically, the whole focus was about the new design of the operating system. And they're like, it's called liquid glass. And it's basically just, you know, your messages or your notifications have a translucent, opaque sort of background to them, so you can still see stuff behind it. And sure, it looks nice, but God, they've, you know, Steve Jobs, I'm sure, is just rolling in his grave, because he's like, where is the innovation? Where is it? You're just making bigger screens, littler screens, bigger screens, littler screens. You know, like, what has Apple done to... And maybe, don't get me wrong, I also understand that, you know, I can still listen to 10 Pearl Jam's, like, kind of debut album. Still easily listen to that. Like, every track on that, I think is incredible. And then as the albums went on, I was like, okay, maybe there's 3 songs on Vitalogy that I can listen to. And there was, like, say, 6 songs on Versus. But it just becomes less and less. Because it's very difficult. Like, you know, they would have spent, let's say, 5 years working on 10 in a position where they had a point of view, because they didn't, you know, they weren't living in comfortable situations. They had that drive to achieve, and they had to have a point of view to you know, and have that confidence to make it happen. And then you're like, right, now you have a record deal and you have to push out a new album every year. And you're also making more money, so you're more comfortable, your points of view change, and you can just see it with pretty much every band. And where was I going with that?
Well, I think that's the same. That's like artist business, designer business. You know, rather than going, you probably only do 5 in your lifetime, those albums, and like, gotta go and just focus on those and explore things. But I kind of feel like things do naturally wax and wane, and they rise and fall, whatever, you know. They go up and down, and let them.
But what, out of interest, just, can you think of any bands that came out like, wow, massive debut album, incredible, then kind of waned, and then came back again to the same level? I'm not saying there isn't. I can't think of a single band.
No, you probably don't, because then you're just maintaining, and then you...
I guess it's subjective as well, isn't it? Because you could say, like, with Metallica, you know, everything up until the Black Album and then downhill, but other people came in after the Black Album, and that's the Metallica that they enjoy. So I guess it's just different.
Yeah. But I think music is an interesting one. I think brands, like, you have probably, what, 5 years?
Okay.
5 years of nothing, then you kind of hit it.
Yeah.
Then you try and ride it. I mean, you could probably get 20 years out of it. It's like the first 5 years is nowhere, then all of a sudden it gains traction, then you're kind of getting bigger, and then you don't see the natural decline of something. And then it needs reinvigorating, or it just disappears.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're particularly well known for something. Like, I just see Superdry, and I'm just like, oh God, just give up. That brand just is just limping on, and new investors and stuff like that, because they were so well known for, like, the kind of, like, the Japanese
writing, the multi-zip
writing
jackets. Brilliant.
Yeah, they were so well known for one thing, and it becomes known for that time. And I just don't think it needs 20 years to maybe come back around, and maybe you could, you know, come back as retro.
Yeah, and 20 years is a long time, isn't it? Because you start off as 25 and you end up at 40, like our age, or you're 30 when you start it, and then you're 50, but you're done. Like, you're done, I think.
Well, unless it becomes part of a holding company of brands, you know, you almost see this cyclical nature of it. And so you push into trend. Like, it wasn't that long ago that, you know, really baggy skater jeans were back in. And I think that maybe that is cool at the moment for Gen Z.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but like, that is 20 years. So
Yeah.
maybe you have like a collection of brands, and you have a cycle with them, and you put you almost kind of make them fallow for 20 years, but just kind of bubble along in the background so that you're there to push them, and I know what you're saying about as a founder, maybe you're 25 and then you're 45 and then you're 65, but if it's part of a business, maybe you could make that happen. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think about that fairly often. I think that there's something in a holding company to do it. There's a real skill in being able to, when something comes around 20 years later, to be able to spot it and have the energy, as opposed to say, oh, I've seen that before, or it's not as good as it was, because it's the first time someone else, like you say, Gen Z are seeing it and they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. But I think you do get that with music when you play albums to people that were seminal. I got really into watching on YouTube people like first time listen to various things like classics from the generations, and they were like, wow, like when's this from, or this sounds like X, and it's like, well, I think if you flip it around,
sure,
what you're listening to sounds like that, like that's where it's come from. So getting people to see it, but I feel like that's coming back with clothes, where people are building these archives of the brands that were around in the 90s. And I really enjoy having conversations with the generation that are discovering them.
Okay.
Because they're seeing it with the eyes. Like, I will never see something with the eyes of a 20-year-old again because of the age I'm at now.
Sure.
But they're 20, seeing this thing, and we're having the same conversation about it. Because I'm going,
It is
I can
interesting, isn't it?
remember that feeling. Like, that's how that made me feel at that time.
Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting spot.
Yeah, and I was trying to think, like, because there's lots of I've seen lots of kids. Actually, when I was in Lisbon, lots of kids wearing Nirvana t-shirts. That I was wearing when I was 16. And it's interesting if you have the conversations with people who have discovered this stuff that was part of your childhood. You were there when it came out. At the primary time. I guess same for me as a 16-year-old listening to Led Zeppelin or something like that. To me, it's mine. I like it's new to me, and there's the arrogance of youth. I could talk to my dad about it or whatever, and I'd be like, yeah, whatever. You don't really get it. I understand Led Zeppelin, better than you do, because there's that arrogance of youth. And I think it's the same with the clothing as well. So you could show pictures of you wearing that stuff when you were that age, and it'd be like, yeah, but what I'm doing is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you've just thinking about, because what a piece is different to Barnfield in kind of the message, I think album was my Barnfield, in that, the way it was made, this, that, and the other. And then, kind of, I know how things are made. Like, it's important. It's still important, but I think there's a message.
Yeah.
And that's because of the age I'm at now. In a way, like, the clothes are just the clothes, but it's the message of peace that has come from being the age I'm at, doing all of these things, which can you kind of speak the language of the person who's a similar age, who's gone through those experiences, and the younger generation who are tapped in going, wow, is this all there is in life? And you're like, no, go and do all these amazing things, like, and becoming a brand that speaks to that. That's interesting to me at the moment in communication. And
I think it's interesting, full stop. I think for me, there is a message behind Barnfield, but I've always struggled around, they say, like, you don't want to be selling the item. You want to be selling the transformation. What is it that your clothing, how does buying your clothing transform that person's life?
Yeah.
Because that's what you want to be, selling. And I struggle with status being a valid transformation. Because I think, because I've gone through it myself. I was at that age. I was doing well with the agency. I bought the Porsche. It didn't change who I was at all, in terms of status. Maybe it did. Maybe my peers were like, oh, Mark's done this or whatever. But I never heard it. I never felt it. In fact, if anything, it kind of made me feel awkward having that car. So I've always struggled with that being, like, what is the transformation? And what I feel it is in my heart is that you're becoming part of something bigger. You're becoming part of this movement that supports local skills, but on more than like kind of like a craftsperson sort of level, more on a philosophical level, and that you're part of a larger community. But I definitely struggle to communicate what I feel Barnfield is. I try, but I don't think I've really gotten to the bottom of it.
So I don't think you necessarily need to. I've had to write a bio for a sales guy on Peace. Hardest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because it just sounds...
Okay.
Oh, we're making jeans and like, it just, like, it sounds absolutely just, like, it's so uninteresting. Because I think they are.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, like, what styles do you make? It's like, well, that should, that doesn't define me. It's like, come and see it. Like, this is what we stand for. Kind of, this is what we stand for. This is where we're from. Come and see what we're doing. Like,
but I think that's so much more interesting, isn't it, than features and benefits? Because as we said, like, every piece of clothing has been made. There's loads you can get. We all know you can get a peacoat for 20 quid off Vinted or something like that. So what is it that separates your jeans, my coats, my knitwear, whatever? What is it that separates it? And I think, to a degree, with me, because I was doing the behind the scenes and all that sort of stuff, it was people buying into what I was doing. And being inspired by, okay, he was running a digital marketing agency and he's just gone, fuck it. I burnt out from that. That's not for me anymore. I want to create something that lasts and something of legacy. That only has so much kind of runway, I think, because it's so founder-led. Then I think, there are the other elements to it, but I think it's very difficult to distill it down, but it's really important that you do, because as we say, like, features and benefits, style of jeans, whatever. But the message of Peace, that kind of like, where you are in your life and appealing to other people who are in the same boat and had that same feeling, and maybe before they came across Peace and heard that message, they were floundering.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I don't know where I fit, and this brand really speaks to me. I want to be part of that, and by buying it, I become part of it.
Yeah, which is interesting in itself, isn't it? But that's where I think stores are really good, but also there's the separation of the designer and the business, and those two bits, because the business is there kind of just to, okay, we just need to sell a few more bits, so we'll put a sale, or our fixed costs are a bit too high, so we need to just reduce our fixed costs and put the price up a little bit. So you're just trying to manage it so you can sell so the point of view works, so it's then sustainable and in balance. As opposed to getting lost on, a number of things. Like I'm a big, well, I'm a big fan of stores, but you have that thing, you get direct feedback. You don't really need to say too much because of how you put the garments in a space. Like other people do that for you, and then you say a few words to someone that's interested to hear, Otherwise, it's like, have you got this in a medium? And then, and they like it, and they've given it to it. And you're like, oh, have you seen that shop? Barnfield. It's Mike's a really nice guy, or Jason who works in there's, he's super nice, and it's kind of this thing. I think it becomes very human, and you can say a lot by the garment. When you see it, you can say it.
Yeah.
When you see it, you can feel it, and when you can feel it, it makes sense.
But it's distilling. It's like, so you need to create this mind dump, this brain dump of just everything that you feel the brand stands for, what it means, how it communicates, how it connects. Just brain dump it all down, and then almost kind of be like, okay, well, how do we distill that down? So we distill that down to a feeling or an ideology or whatever. Now we need to communicate that visually in terms of the photography that we take, in terms of how we lay the garments out in the shop.
Yeah.
In terms of how we speak to people, in tone of voice. It just gets so broken down. It's like brain dump, distill, then separate out again, but with clarity.
Mm.
And I think that is hugely overlooked, and it's why so many brands do just sit in this middle ground of not really connecting with anyone, not having a point of view, because it's really difficult to do. It's easier we just make the product.
Yeah. Yeah, and lots of it is, I think, having that. But maybe one needs to decide on point of view or just making something. And this has come more for me with doing these graphics on these t-shirts for the tennis stuff, like drop shots, not bombs, and pieces in act of rebellion, because naturally when it goes onto a t-shirt, the guy that was doing it, Miguel, shout out to Miguel, who's Porto born and raised, younger generation. For me, that was really important. So it is a different eyes that approach the graphics with. He was like, oh wow, it's kind of really political, and I was like, yes, it can be, and then but it's also not. Because of the time in, the name has always had that for people, and then as an act of rebellion, because people are, you just put these words in and it gives it a flavor, but it's like it can have a conversation, because all I'm saying is to someone, you be you, or as Naval Ravikant says, productize yourself. No one else will be you better than you can be you. So be you. And you're like, I'm down with that. Like I am in to that way of thinking.
Isn't it interesting that there are certain words that have more power than others? And I think that every time I hear, like, I'm not a religious person, but if I'm listening to music and I hear God, I hear faith and all that sort of stuff, like I feel like a sense of emotion. I feel a sense of connection. And I think, rebellion, and there are these certain words that you can pepper in and you can use that can elicit that kind of connection.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I love words. I came up with, I was trying to write down 3 words. What was it? Peace is quiet, meaningful, and radical.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I quite like that. I'm not sure because quiet can be, that might not be the right word, but it is meaningful. And it is radical, but it's also not, because it's just jeans and a white t-shirt and a cashmere jumper. And like it's this play on these things, and it's like, You know, probably the most radical thing anyone can be is 100% themselves.
Sure. Well, is that even possible?
I don't know.
It depends. I guess it depends on what you identify as yourself. Whether you are, whether you can be 100% yourself, or whether you are the product of your surroundings and people and stuff. But those three words sum up confidence to me as well. Like, you know, confidence to me isn't loud and brash. It's quiet, and it's the stuff we were talking about before. That kind of like I always go with dichotomy, and I don't think it's the right word, but that situation where, like, you know, for me, it's like if I see someone in a supercar, and they're just driving normally, I've got so much more respect. I'm like, yeah, that person knows their car, because they don't need to be like driving like a hoon around a roundabout and making other people feel uncomfortable. They know what the car is. They know what it's capable of. You know, and that I have so much more respect for, and it's a similar sort of thing.
Yeah, then they go to the place to, then they go to the track to let it rip.
Sure, exactly.
And then it's everything in its kind of rightful place, which I think it becomes really peaceful then. It's like, well, we don't need to.
Exactly. Yeah. You're not trying to, you're not trying to force. Well, these are the videos you see on Instagram and TikTok constantly of, like, that people love to show, where someone's got themselves like a brand new supercar, and they show off, put the pedal down and bang, and just smash. There's $1.2 million gone, and people love it. And I think it is because it's like, you got your comeuppance because you were trying to be Billy Big Balls. Like, if you are actually that person, the anxiety isn't there. You're peaceful because you're just like, I don't care what people think about me. I'm not trying to impress anyone.
Exactly.
I love this car. I bought it because I love it. And I'll take it to the track and I'll enjoy it there and see what it can do, because it's in the right place at the right time. And again, there's no anxiety because you're in the right place at the right time. So again, like, anxiety is the antithesis of confidence. If you have that confidence and that belief, then there's nothing to be anxious about.
Just at ease. I think that's probably what most people want. Most designers want, because you want to create something that gives people confidence, that makes them feel confident. And I think that's probably what clothes and fashion do very well. But a lot of brands, they don't, because they're just
again, if it hasn't got a point of view, if it hasn't got, you're just buying. It's like cosplay. To me, you're just cosplaying as someone who wears that or whatever, rather than like, no, this brand reflects my values. And by wearing it, I reflect those values out to the world and attract my tribe.
Exactly.
Other people will see
exactly.
it. So, but we should probably call it quits. It's actually it's an hour and 15, which we've been doing well at keeping these under an hour. But then we also haven't caught up for a month, so it's not surprising.
I thought this was good. I've enjoyed it.
Always.
So I think I'm gonna dig into those prompts that you sent me, because I'm intrigued to have maybe we can resume next week and just share a bit on those, because I think let's
because we can go through each part. There's the origin, and I think it's really pulling out some interesting stuff about myself. And also, I think the fact is that like it's for kind of creators to help you create your brand, but I'm so fundamental to the brand, and I want to remove any level of anxiety that I have across the board. And I think that better understanding myself and creating this operating system, like, it's even pulled out of it because I can't remember which questions it was, but it's pulled out. It's like, okay, well, between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. is your time, non-negotiable, every day. Because I find that if I get up and before I go to the gym or before I get into work, if something else comes up, say I open up my email or I chat with Amy or something like that, it can totally sway my day. I need that peace. I need that quiet. I need my brain to wake up and delve into ideas and creativity.
Yes.
And it can be so easily distracted, and then that's my whole day gone, and it's very difficult then to reset and be like, tomorrow is a new day. Start again, because I feel like I'm on the back foot. So this has come up, and it's like, okay, cool. Well, 7 to 11 a.m. non-negotiable is your time. Make sure you carve that out.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Because I saw my nephew last time I was in Bahrain. I saw my nephew had his like school kind of like schedule. It was like maths from this time to this time, then English, then PE, then a break, and I was like, I was really drawn to that, even though I reject other people putting structure on me. I work well within structure that I create for myself for a time, and then I find myself then I find what happens is I dig into it too much, it becomes too intense, and then I reject it, and I never want to go back to it. I kind of rebel against it. So it's this constant cycle for me. I could be like, the gym is so good for my mental health, it's so important, and I go from doing 3 days a week, and once I've identified that, I'm there 6 days a week. And then suddenly I'm just like, what am I doing here? I hate the sound of they're playing the same music on the radio all the time. Like, they haven't fixed this, or, and you identify all the things that frustrate you about it because you've gone too intense.
Yeah.
And then I pull back, and then I find it very difficult to get myself back into the gym again. So I have a
whereas then when it becomes it becomes a chore, and it doesn't feel like it's you.
But I've made it a chore. I have made it a chore, instead of just being like, dude, 3 days a week is fine.
Yeah.
But then I think it's also top of mind for me at the moment, because I've gotten back from Italy, because I've got back from Portugal, where it's like, hey, I'd drink a bunch of wine and have a bunch of pastel de nata and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, no, I've set myself the task of so I'm 45 in February next year. So it's quite a way. But I wanted to do this kind of like, I get really into shape, like get shredded I wanted to get shredded for 40. That didn't happen. So I have the time. It's June now, like through to February. I can very sustainably get myself to a place where I'm like, you can look like this when you're 45, Mark. That's good.
I mean, those things, if you're in shape, it doesn't actually take that much. I was thinking that on the
I think I've been down, so normally I'm 72 kilos is like kind of my standard walking around, not 100% happy with how I look, but that's the kind of my weight. I've been down at 61 and a half, had to be 63 wearing the gi for a jiu-jitsu competition. And the gi is 1.5. So, I mean, I've gotten down to there. But then if I would lose that much weight, I'm like,
nothing of you.
Now I just look, exactly. Now I just look like a waif. So it's going to be, it's an interesting task. It's one of those things that I think I look at people who've done it, like Mark LaRousse, who I've spoken to you about before. He did it. I can't remember why he did it, but I think part of what he was saying is like, it's one of those things that no one can do for you. And it's such a demonstration of your ability to commit to something, because you are either in incredibly good shape or you're not. There's no hiding from it. And that appeals to me for a time. So I'll commit to that to a time. Aim for excellence again, and then give myself a break.
Yeah, and it will be. Fitness is a funny one, isn't it? As we get older, now I'm playing more tennis. I've gone from like CrossFit functional training, tennis, climbing, and now I'm just playing more tennis. And my shape, like as it does, it whittles away to be able to do the thing that I'm doing, and it's like actually, it's great. Like I still do some lifting, but it's with a tennis focus, and
It's well, I mean, I was the same with CrossFit and lifting, and I couldn't lift what I lifted then. For sure. But it's one of the things that I really liked about CrossFit and weightlifting, which is kind of the antithesis of what I'm talking about now, is that. There were no mirrors.
Yeah.
You were working out for functional fitness, genuinely. Like, what can you do? It's not, how you look is kind of a byproduct of that. And I definitely prefer that. I do much prefer that. Because I think I don't like the inward looking. But this is something I mean, my mum was an aerobics instructor. It's been part of my life forever. And so it's always been one of those things in the back of my mind, like, I'd really like to be properly shredded and really in shape. And I'm like, you're only getting older. It's only going to get more difficult. You said you were going to do it at 40, do it at 45, and then
you want to be able to fully move. I think that's it. Like my joints are good. I mean, I'm only 45, but
but there's plenty of 45-year-olds whose joints
absolutely. So in a way, it's like, to me,
you're already
this
winning.
is normal. Like where we're at isn't. It's kind of where our age is. It's like not overweight and puffy and exhausted all the time. It's like, actually there's loads of life in. We can talk about fitness another time. We can do the fitness podcast.
Well, along with bread equity, we just
shred equity,
mush it all
so
together.
We've got bread equity and shred equity.
Oh my God. Perfect. Right, let's end it there, and we'll catch up again next week.
All right, cheers, Mark. Bye.
All right, cheers, James. Bye.